going on, Rotogrinders? Dean here at
3:30 Mountain Time.
Nobody cares. Grant, first of all, it's not 3:30 Mountain Time. It's actually 3:31 Mountain Time. We're a minute late because we had a long pre-show conversation. And but yeah, you know what, Grant? You can go ahead and take it. You can knock it out.
Baseball, your turn.
Yeah, it's Mlb Dfs. It's a 15-game slate if you're playing on DK. It's a 13-game slate if you're playing on FanDuel, if you're playing on Yahoo. The second half of the St. Louis and Chicago Cubby doubleheader, that's only on DK. And also, is it Atlanta? Atlanta and San Diego are not playing on FanDuel. They're not playing on Yahoo. They're playing on DK. Before they play their game that's scheduled tonight, they're going to play a suspended game or pick up on a suspended game. So DK did not throw it out, but FanDuel and Yahoo did. It is kind of sort of somewhat interesting as far as the weather. We saw in game one, as far as the Wrigley game, Tyler O'Neill banged out a homer literally out of the stadium. That doesn't happen too infrequently in Wrigley. But the wind is blowing out once again. So it's this weird sort of like a combination of it's a 7-inning game, and who wants to roster players from 7-inning games, especially the home team, because they may only play 6 innings of at bat, so they win that game. But the prices also are only charging you for 7 innings too. And the wind is blowing out. So I think the Cardinals, we'll be talking about them soon enough, are kind of sort of somewhat interesting. No lineup just yet for St. Louis. They, of course, they've won 13 games in a row. Are you aware of this, Grant?
I am aware of this. They lost me money last night.
Why would you bet they won 12 games when you thought they were due to lose?
It was a boost parlay, sir.
Well, you know what, Grant? Sometimes, you've done well. I want to knock you, but no, you've done well with your gambling, and your picks, and you're available on scoresandodds.com. Tell the people about that. Maybe they're not aware. I'm not really sure.
Make money there.
Okay, is there a? Are you like? Why are you rationing your words today? You're only allowed to say
efficiency. No, go ahead and go sign up over on Scores and Odds. We have picks from me, Meansy, STL, Lunch, Will, Dre, some of the best experts in the entire industry, giving you picks every single day in sports, all the way from soccer to baseball to foosball, not actual foosball, football, like I like to say. But yeah, like tons of picks. I think we're up well over 300 units on the year. STL's crushing in golf. I'm at 62%, 63% win rate. Player props for MLB up 72 units on the year, won 5 in a row outside of the one that happened this morning. Why would they not take out Steele? I'm still very angry about that.
You said foosball. Maybe you think of Waterboy. You've seen the Waterboy.
Yeah, right? that was a reference to it, you silly goose.
All right. I could have been an extra in the Waterboy, and I chose to sleep in, unfortunately. But that could have been fun. All right. Let's talk a little bit as far as the slate going on today. Oh, we should mention, let's go ahead and mention our sponsor, because I think you have some winners for the people as well. PrizePicks, prizepicks.com. Use the promo code Grinders with your very first deposit for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. We're going to go ahead and show that promo on the screen as well. If you're not looking, or if you are looking, there you go. You can check it out. It's confirmed visually. And Grant, I know you play on the PrizePicks as well. You pick some winners for the people. What do you have for us?
Let me see. I think I have the over on Brandon Lau of 8. The over of Austin Meadows of 7.5. Just low numbers going up against a guy that really doesn't have an out pitch, going up against lefties.
You like the Rays today?
I'm not actually stacking them.
That's the only thing he gave us is Rays hitters. I get it, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it. And I might get on them. I'm trying to figure this out. It's interesting because they are going to be so lowly owned because of their price tags, but we have enough places where we can save some money. I made 5 shell lineups. I'm going to create the rest of them after the show. There's a lot of different teams that I'm interested in, and some of them will be very off the board. And it's just a super interesting slate. We have so many high-priced pitchers that are aces that we're not using. And then we have some low price guys that can absolutely crush here. It's such a good slate today. And that Wrigley game just makes it even so much better.
Yeah, I'm very much interested in that St. Louis side. And I don't think I've played 7-inning games all season long, but it's the combination of awesome hitting environment and really, really cheap bats. It's baked in if you want to do cost per bat, And if you're getting 7 innings, you're locked in for 7 innings as far as St. Louis. What are you really losing? Possibly only 3 at bats if you win a game at home, if you think about it that way. And again, the way the prices are, it's going to be a really interesting conversation. I'm curious if the field kind of reflects that. But we already saw the Cubs lineup. Sometimes you see guys resting in the back half. Of St. Louis, I think they're more or less, I don't want to say they're locked in, but this 13-game winning streak, they flew past the Reds. I don't think they've locked anything down just yet, but they're well projected to take down that wild card spot. Or is it the wild card spot or the division? I'm not really sure. A spot in the playoffs. How about
Wild
that?
card.
We can say it that way. Are you sure it's wild card? Because aren't
Brewers are pretty much locked into the division. Cardinals
That's
are
it.
playing for the wild card.
correct? All right. Yeah, you kind of alluded to it. There are some big names as far as pitchers, and I wouldn't say I'm not playing them, but I'm not as enthused about playing them as I normally am. We'll be talking stacks soon enough as well too. And I think the stacks, the two biggest ones are pretty clearly, the Dodgers and the Giants, two teams that are actually have something to play for, two teams that are well positioned. The Giants, of course, in Coors Field. If you look at that bullpen stuff, well, we'll save that kind of stuff. We talk about the hitters as well, but I love the Giants today, but everybody else does as well. As far as the pitchers, Garrett Cole, the Yankees, another team that had everything to play for. They're battling with a team, on the other side of the field, Boston for a final playoff spot, Toronto as well. They're going to get two of those three: Toronto, Boston, New York. Two of those three, playoff spots are up for grabs. Garrett Cole against Boston, not this great matchup, but he's, the best pitcher on the slate. You're not really getting necessarily any big discounts. He's not going to be like extremely heavily owned, which you've seen in the past, like 30, 40, 50% sometimes depending on the slate. And we currently have him projected for on DK just 18%, which, seems kind of low when you consider his upside. But again, tough matchup. Also, he drew an extreme hitters umpire. We can knock those out for the people as well too. There's at least the ones we know. Not all the umpire information in just yet, but extreme hitters umpire for Eovaldi and Cole, for the Dodgers, Gonsolin, Castellanos, and for the Marlins game, the aforementioned Rays and Marlins. And we're projecting, word in the street is that Ryan Yarbrough is going to be the long man for Tampa. I don't know if we have confirmation, and every once in a while it doesn't go as planned, but that is the expectation, is that Ryan Yarbrough will be the long man, and Cabrera, of course, on the other side. Talk to me about Garrett Cole, and like you kind of hinted at it, you might not be playing him, which I get, but yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I'm not even sure. I'm not against him. 18% ownership. It kind of all depends on the weather right now. Looks like it could potentially see some problems, potentially see some pop-ups in there. I've actually bet his under on K's of 8.5. He's going up against the Red Sox. The Red Sox are one of the toughest teams in the entire league. He's playing in one of the worst ballparks for pitching in the entire league over in Boston. It's just a spot where nothing's really going his way. That extreme pitcher or extreme hitters umpire is definitely not going to help either. I'm more interested in Eovaldi on the other side. Cole has been great, but this is a below average strikeout rate team that's just crushing right now in a bad ballpark. I can't tell if I'm going to do it. If the weather's bad, just no chance.
Well, where are you seeing this weather issue? Because unless this wasn't updated, last I saw, Roth has it at green yellow in Boston.
Oh, did he drop it down? All right, so that makes me feel better.
Yeah, I mean, I think it like earlier in the day you looked at it, it's like 30, 40% or something.
I looked at it like 35 minutes ago.
Yeah, and I'm not, again, see what Roth has to say in crunch time, see if he updates this article. I'm not sure if this is the update. I believe it is. Let me go ahead and check his Twitter. He usually tweets this out as well too. But as of right now, let's work under the assumption that game is good to go from a weather perspective. And
Dean, you're nuts.
Oh, what was that, Grant?
You have some too. I'm not looking at you because I don't like to see your face.
I would, yeah. I mean, BOGO, they were buying them free, so I got myself some deluxe Knicks.
I bought this in Indiana, and I still haven't eaten it yet.
Wait, hold on. Are those just like the plain nuts, like just standard nuts?
Honey roasted peanuts.
Oh my God! Seriously, get yourself some almonds, get yourself some cashews, get some macadamia. You got the worst possible nut. That is the nut.
Yeah, no, I'm not a huge fan of peanuts. It's just what they happen to have. I always go for almonds because they're significantly better for you. I had some chocolate almond butter this morning. It's delicious.
Chocolate almond butter?
Yeah.
With what?
On toast.
I don't think I've ever had that before. I've not had the pleasure.
I mean, like if you're looking to be healthier, almond butter is just better to use than peanut butter, and it's more expensive.
Chocolate is.
It has a very small amount of cacao in it. It was dark chocolate.
Dean, you need to go try that sriracha peanuts.
Sriracha nuts?
Yeah, some spicy peanuts, Dean. Come on.
Yeah, Dean, you like spicy nuts?
No, I do not. I'm not
I'm a big fan of spicy nuts.
Oh, all right. Well, hey, put that in your Twitter profile or your Tinder profile, but that's not necessary anymore these days. But there's no other product, Grant. There's no other product that they literally advertise. They say, we know you don't want this. We promise there's less than 50% peanuts in the mixed nut bag. That's how you know that they know they suck and they're still putting them in there.
Yeah, but peanuts are also still fairly good for you.
Are they? I don't think they are.
I mean, depending on what the rest of your diet is, it's very high in polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fat. It actually has a decent amount of fiber. It's a very good source of protein. It's why people add peanut butter to their protein shakes a lot of times.
Who are we talking about? We're talking about Garrett Cole and Eovaldi?
Yeah, I like Eovaldi more. I mean, he's getting a higher strikeout matchup. He's an underdog, yes, but he's been crushing, absolutely just crushing the last month. Shout out to Meansy. He wrote up Eovaldi over on pitcher strikeouts this morning over on Scores and Odds. I was going to write it up too, but he already had there. So I'm like, I'll just piggyback him. But he's going up against a fairly decent strikeout lineup in the Yankees. Got 35% K rate over the last month. The one thing he doesn't struggle with is command. He's got a 4.7 walk rate on the entire season. So the big thing the Yankees do is they work the count. Not really as much of an issue with a guy like Eovaldi. So I love him today. He's the guy that I would rather go with. He's coming in at 2% projected ownership. Like, this is a spot where he could realistically put up 30 points and no one would be on him.
Yeah, 23.6% as far as the K rate collectively with that New York lineup today, specifically against righties this season. 25.6% as far as striking out this year for Eovaldi. That's really good. Like you said, the walks are awesome at 4.7%. And this New York lineup is super, super patient. 11.5% collectively as far as getting walks. They can work that count. And also, it's not a positive, but I think having that hitter's umpire doesn't hurt him as much. It was maybe hurt somebody else. Beyond this game, who is the next pitcher kind of gets your eye? Because, well, there's a couple that are a little bit cheaper that are kind of sort of somewhat interesting. And
well, there's another guy that's high priced. He's gonna draw some ownership, but Dylan Cease going up against the Indians, like, this could be a real big game for him. I mean, obviously it's not consistent. You put up a bad game, the ownership on him really isn't great. But there's a 30 or a 25% K rate in this lineup. Cease strikes out both sides of the plate. Not really a ton of patient bats in this lineup. Obviously, you got Ramirez, you got Straw, you got Bradley, you got Zimmer. No one else is even remotely close to patient here. You got about 5 high strikeout bats here. He can absolutely cruise through pretty much any lineup. He's a guy that could end up with 30 points on the slate.
You want my concern?
Go ahead.
Well, they locked up the division last night, right? They locked up their playoff spot, and they have no incentive to push him very hard. Like, can he pitch 88 pitches really efficiently and strike out 7 in 7 innings? Of course. Can he possibly throw 95 pitches in 7 innings? I guess. He should be okay.
Throw 96?
90, I will take the under on 96 pitches for Dylan.
What about 94?
Well, you're just going to keep going down? Like, 96 is the line you said.
Evan will appreciate. What about 12 months? Yeah, I could see that happening. Okay, but 13 months. Yes, that's within the realm of possibilities. Do you get that reference, Devin?
Of course I do. It's The Office.
Is this that Super Troopers?
And of course, Dean's not going to get it. Why wouldn't Dean?
It's The Office.
Oh, I'm aware of The Office. Well, what do you mean I don't know I don't. That line is not familiar with me.
It's when he's talking to Dwight, like, yeah, when a zombie apocalypse happens, it could happen in 3 months. Okay, what about 4 months?
Yeah,
I can see that happening. 5 minutes, like 5 minutes later. All right, 23 months. Yes, I can see that happening.
I'm disappointed in myself for not catching that reference. It was well done. So yeah, that's my concern with Cease. I get it, and I'm gonna have some, but I don't think they, go full throttle on him, and I don't know how much you need the full throttle. But right there is Sonny Gray, who's actually even cheaper, and he gets to pick on a hitter. That's a pitcher in the 9 hole, and that Washington lineup is terrible. It's Soto, who's scary for sure, obviously, but everybody else is just whatever. Carter Keyboom got scratched. I don't know who they replaced him with. Probably somebody not as good as Carter Keyboom. Yeah, do we have an official lineup now?
That's a great name. I'm looking.
Sure. It is a great. You would want him to be like a big power hitter. Unfortunately, he's not.
I believe it's Italian. Keyboom.
I'm pretty sure it's not Italian. I don't know. It's a callback to our pre-show conversation. Jordy Mercer still plays baseball, and he's playing baseball.
If only Sonny Gray were a lefty.
Yeah.
Then Cardi would just be getting all excited.
That's the thing, though, Grant. Like, Jordy Mercer is, he's in this lineup today. He's 55 at bats this season versus righties, a 118 ISO, striking out 23.6%, doesn't walk, no power, not a good contact hitter. Yeah, I think it's a positive replacement. Stevenson cracked the lineup as well too. He's been dreadful all season long. I like Gray more than I like Cease, and I think you compare them both. But Gray is I prefer him when you consider the discount and the matchup.
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead, do it. I'm not doing it.
You're not playing any Gray. You're going to X him out.
I think I'm Xing out Gray. I mean, he's going to come in as one of the highest owned, if not the highest owned pitcher on the entire slate. He is solid in a solid matchup, but he hasn't gone close. He's only gone 100 pitches, once in the last 5 outings. He's been mostly around 80. Don't know what the reason is for that, but anytime that I get that scenario with that chalky of a pitcher, when we have so many other good options, like so many good options, why would I play
pinch hit for versus the Dodgers? He was pitching, okay, I guess, against LA with 75 pitches in 6 innings. I'm guessing it was like a pinch hit situation they were losing, but I don't know. He threw 100 before that, and before that, he wasn't pitching particularly great. But I mean, he was fine against the Cubs in that game. Not really sure of the situation there, but
I mean, he also can get a little bit wild, and there's a few. I mean, not a ton of bats that can work the count, but I mean, Soto, Lane Thomas.
I'll take the walk. Walk Soto. Give the intentional walk. Let's save your pitch count. Let's just let him go to first base. I'm good with that.
Yeah, I mean, intentional walk would be great, but more than likely it's going to be like a 7-pitch, 8-pitch walk at bat that's going to take out probably almost 10% of his overall pitches each time he faces him. He's going to face him twice in all likelihood if he's pitching, potentially 3 times. So, yeah, I'm out.
What about Kyle Gibson? Philadelphia team still has an outside shot at getting himself a wild card spot. No, not wild card. They actually have to get to win the division. It's them and Atlanta battling for that division. Atlanta most likely gets it. We saw some strikeouts of late. They kind of popped up. That's kind of been his issue all season long, is to strike out a lot of people. And we care about the K's when it comes to DFS, obviously. Facing a Pittsburgh team that's pretty punchless.
You know what his swinging strike rate is over the last month?
I can guess. I mean, I have it in front of me, but I won't cheat.
His number on the season is 10.1, I think.
I was going to say 8.1%.
8.4% is his strikeout rate over the last
I just
month.
won both showdowns.
Huh?
I just won both showdowns. I won the both showcase showdowns.
Yeah.
No?
I mean, this is not the greatest TV show of all time. But sure, if you need to stroke your own ego, as they call it.
I have to win something from the greatest TV show. Did I just win some blue from Breaking Bad?
Oh yeah, good old. I can't even remember what it was referred to as.
You won a prop football from Airbud, Dean.
Yes, Airbud.
Gosh. But
Airbud,
I mean, I just don't want to. I don't want to pay that ownership for Gray. I don't want to pay that ownership for Gibson. Gibson's popping in a lot of projection systems. Gray's popping in a lot of projection systems. Do I think that they're that much more likely to outscore? Let me think. Gilbert at slightly less ownership, but significant price savings. I think Carlos Hernandez is going to end up with 20.
He's interesting at 5.5. If you want to spend up on some bats, I'm okay with it. I'll allow it. I might even have one liner with him just because.
And then Barrios is not heavily owned.
First blood. It's a first blood revenge game, isn't it? I'm pretty sure it's first blood revenge for him. He hasn't faced Minnesota yet, I don't think.
You may be correct. I do not know.
Yeah, and of course, they'll extend him. They traded for him. I don't know what his contract is beyond this year, but Toronto is a desperate team, trying to get every W they possibly can get. Yeah, I was curious to see if he's faced them. I don't think he has faced them. It's unlikely. Talk to me about Barrios.
I mean, he's been very, very good. I'm trying to check to see if he's faced him.
He did face him. Pitched pretty well.
Well, don't you feel stupid, sir?
It's second blood.
Second blood. Second first blood.
What was the name of the second Rambo? I think the second Rambo might have been called First Blood, if I'm not mistaken.
First Blood Part 2, I believe. Yeah, over the last month, the control has been fantastic. The K's have been there. He's going up against Minnesota. Minnesota has a lot of high strikeout bats. It's not particularly warm over there. He is going to be mostly unowned. He's a pivot off of Cease, off of Gibson, off of Gray, where all the ownership is going. He's not popping in projection systems, which I love. This is just a beautiful overall spot. And yes, this could end up biting me in the butt, as they say.
Yeah.
But my entire pitcher pool right now is I have a little bit of Cease, but Gilbert,
yeah,
Barrios, Carlos Hernandez, and Eovaldi. I don't want to play guys that are going to be expensive or high owned. Like there's no point on this slate when you have huge upside with so many other guys.
Yeah, but interested in Yarborough. It's probably more of a FanDuel play than a DK
He's been
play.
such trash.
He's been terrible, but like he's at home versus the Marlins, and he should probably pitch innings, 2 to 3 to like 5 to 6, something like that. We're well positioned for a win. In theory, they're going to grab some runs off the Marlins. They have a really big team total for that game in that ballpark there. You never see a team total that high for Tampa. Good offense, obviously the bad ballpark for hitting baseballs.
Cabrera can't get lefties out to save his life.
He's a nice prospect, but he's not there just yet. He's still a bit of a
I mean, his
prospect.
slider's there, his control isn't there, and his changeup's definitely not there. So lefties are going to destroy him. I like the under on this K prop.
Do you think Seattle pushes back on Gilbert at some point as far as his pitch count? Like he's a young guy,
You mean the in playoff contention Seattle Mariners?
Yeah, I mean they are, but they're not. It's a cute story.
What do you mean they're not? They're like 2 games out of the wild card.
Hold on a second. They're not. They're not getting them. I just told you that 2 of the 3 spots are going to the AL East. It's not happening.
So
8% chance. You want 8% chance.
8% chance. That's fine. That's fine. You can go off those numbers all you want. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of these teams are playing each other pretty often in the latter part of the last few games.
Which is bad for Seattle because they need Toronto and the Yankees and the Red Sox all to lose, which is impossible. They're playing each other.
I mean, not really. They're what? They're 3 games. They're 2 games behind the Yankees. They're one game.
Do you want 10-1 in Seattle?
Wonder what their current odds are on sports books.
Well, I'm asking. This is the book right now. I'll give you 10-1 odds on Seattle making the playoffs.
Well, let's see. I'm gonna look.
Oh, geez, you're shopping around on me now?
Yes, I'm going to shop around on you.
You spoke so confidently about Seattle's going to make the playoffs.
Well, I don't want. I like to know if I can get better odds somewhere else.
You're trying to game the system now. I don't know what the odds are on like BetMGM.
I can get 11-1.
Oh, okay. Well, and what? But there's no.
That's just the first website I looked at. I can get 11-1.
You can't put a price on the victory lap you could have if they actually do make the playoffs. That's worth giving up a little bit of a equity, no? I guess not.
I don't like taking your money. You already lose enough in DFS.
Oh, Grant, I'm right here, man.
I know. I said it right to your face.
So yeah, Gilbert. I guess that's a reasonable point, though. You're right. The team probably thinks they have a shot.
They're 2 games out.
Nah, come on. They're not making the playoffs. It's the Mariners. They're terrible.
The entire time I've watched baseball, the Mariners have not made the playoffs. The first year they missed it was the first year I started watching. They have not made it. I've been waiting for this.
So you're a mush, is what I'm hearing. You're a mush. You're
a
big old mush.
Well, it worked real great for the Seahawks, didn't it?
What's the rule of the Seahawks? You started watching.
I mean, they've gone to 3 Super Bowls since I started watching football.
I don't know. I don't keep score. I don't know when you started watching football. Out of the womb. When did you start watching football?
Around 2000.
Okay.
The year after Tom Brady won his first Super Bowl.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Yeah, and the Mariners have they not made the playoffs in like 20 years?
20 years.
Since the days of like Griffey and A-Rod and Buhner, like that team.
Yeah, since they I think Buhner might have still been there. Edgar was still there.
Oh, Edgar was awesome.
Yeah, Edgar was great.
Hall of Famer now, right? I think he's in the Hall of Fame.
I think he has to be.
That was a whole debate, like because he was a DH, but yeah. So tell me why Gilbert is. It's probably because of the price, I guess, and also the Angels strike out a good bit.
Yeah, the Angels strike out a lot. I mean, his current K prop, granted, it's been bet down thanks to me. Start off at 6.5. He's 6.4K. It's far too cheap considering he's well above average strikeout pitcher, probably an above average pitcher, facing a bad lineup. He's 6.4K. This guy was what, 8K not too long ago? And he gets a better matchup than he's had in a while. He's too cheap.
I think he's in the we're gonna probably do the around the horn later really quickly as far as a cash consideration. I don't know if he's playing cash at this point in the season, but I think Gilbert's in that pool. Like Gray's in that pool, Cease's in that pool, Gilbert's in that pool. It's probably 2 of those 3. If you want to grab Garrett Cole, I'm okay with that as well. But there's really no clear pass, I don't think, like clear and obvious pitching pass today.
I mean, the most clear and obvious ones are Sonny Gray and Gibson, and everyone's going to play them. And they're not that clear and not that obvious, and they're going to be over 30% out.
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, I like those guys too, but I don't feel like
you shock donkey.
Well, I mean, I also believe in math. They're well positioned according to math.
Yes, game theory is a part of math.
Correct. No, I understand. I was talking about a cash game consideration. In cash,
It's
I don't.
cash.
You're supposed to be well. Yes, I put a qualifier on it. No, you're besmirching the cash game. Some people out there are still playing cash. They want to just double up and have themselves a good time watching some baseball instead of just like blanking the whole into a whole slate. That's no fun. Obviously, it's much more fun to bank it too. Eric Lauer's been pitching pretty good. I think he's in the conversation. You can play Fried on DK. I'm probably not going to get there. Jack Flaherty's a big arm, but like 10.2K for Jack Flaherty, get out of town. The other guy came back, the Biebs. Biebs is pitching, but they're overpricing him. There's no way I'm paying 11.3 for Bieber. Get out of town. There's no way he pitches 78, 79, 80 pitches. Like, they're not going to push him, right? Like, why would they push him?
Sorry, I think they mentioned 75.
Okay, there you go. I'll take the over on 77. The under. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, you dumb.
Give me a summary. As far as pitchers. We got to talk some stacks in a second.
Gray and Gibson are going to be the chalk. Don't play them. Cease and Gilbert are chalky. I will play them. But who you really want to play is Barrios, Hernandez, Eovaldi. They are far too underowned.
Fire up some questions if you guys are in chat. Do you subscribe, turn on notifications, all sorts of, not just, baseball is ending up, but we know we have basketball around the corner, a lot of basketball shows going down, of course. Every Sunday, myself and Grant and Andre, we yell about football too. That'll be fun. Take you guys straight up the lock with some other guys that are following us. I did a nice podcast with Daigle and Lord Reeves talk about football on Wednesday night. That was good.
Yeah, listen to that, but just skip the Dean parts.
Well, it's because of you want to listen to it for them. I'm just there to ask questions mostly. All right. As far as stacks today, Grant, I think it's pretty clear that there are two big ones at the top. It's not, it's the Dodgers and it's the Giants. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
And what are you doing with that information? If you're playing pitchers that aren't that heavily honed, I guess that's one of your strategies. If you don't want to get the heavily owned pitchers, then now you can grab at least shares of teams that are going to be heavily owned to some degree, at least on a 15-game slate. Ownership is relative.
Yeah, Dodgers, Giants, two best stacks on the slate by a pretty decent margin. It is what it is. Lambert, obviously, a guy that has some skill. Tommy John surgery, been doing all right in the minors, but gonna have bullpen after about 3 innings. I think they said there's likely pitch count is 60 pitches. But it doesn't matter. Giants are just good. It's Coors. It is what it is. Dodgers are the Dodgers. Castellanos is not a good pitcher. Dodgers. After that, it's where it gets kind of interesting. And I think, do you know who the best stack on the slate is after that?
Well, when you say best, you mean best relative to ownership, but best relative to what?
Ownership, price considered. Who's the best stack on the slate?
Okay, when you say owner, are you talking DK? You talking any
DK specifically?
So then I suspect it's going to be St. Louis.
It's St. Louis. Like, everyone's like 3K. Yeah. They're going up against Davies. Davies does not strike guys out. The wind's blowing out at 20 miles an hour. They're cheap. Like, I like them more as a secondary stack. Specifically, I like the Goldschmidt, O'Neill, Arenado mini stack. Like, it's absolutely fantastic. You're getting an average price tag of 3.3K. They're not going to be that heavily owned. Each one of them could end up hitting a home run. What did that game what did the first game end up at? Like,
they had like at least 5 homers. Oh wait, it's 8-5. I'm refreshing it now.
Yeah, 10 hits, 8 runs. Like, we could easily see that get the wind's blowing out. I get that Davies is a bit of a ground ball pitcher, but I really don't care. Those 3 righties are all fantastic bats, and they're all fly ball pitchers or hitters, and you're getting the hottest team in baseball. Plus, at least they're the road team, so you're getting for sure 7 innings.
7's not terrible. Like, it's bad, but it's not terrible.
It's 1 less inning than a lot of home teams end up getting.
Correct. And especially if you're at the top, like, Goldie's going to get his 4 at bats. Like, most players get 4 at bats. Like, most players, leadoff hitter on the road, you're well positioned for 5. Like, Tommy LaStella probably gets 5 at bats today versus Peter Lambert, as does Brandon Belt, assuming things go fairly well. But there's many hitters that only get 4 at bats. So, and
at those price tags, like, are you going to be happy with 14 from a guy that's 3.5K?
Well, I don't think of it that way. I don't. When you say that, I don't. Projections of baseball, for me, it's just like a collection of hitters that are well positioned to have a good game and that kind of thing. But like, to put a projection on it at 14,
that's why I'm so much better than you.
Well, you could tell me. What would you project for Goldie today? 14?
No, probably 8.5.
Oh, well, then why'd you throw out 14?
Because it's probably going to hit a bomb.
Well, then why don't you make your projection 14? Solo homer? Nobody's on? 14
I
points?
mean, it's probability. Like, I don't know if you know this, but like, if every single hit is either a home run or it's an out, if every
Yeah.
single ball hit, then the median might be what 0.5 or 0.
Well,
But
that's the whole
the
point of
mean will be
projections are
7.5.
medians. Projections are medians in baseball, and it's also, or just averages. It's the dip. You can have 0 fantasy points or 40 fantasy points. Like both are the range is what's crazy. So like I don't really know how to project like this guy's going to get this many fantasy points in this game. It's really, pitchers, I have a better idea, better chance of doing that. Hitters, it's really tricky to do. We're still waiting on a St. Louis lineup for, as I can tell. The Cubs put up their lineup.
Which just makes me happy because I'm going to be playing him regardless.
Did Molina catch in the first game?
Contreras isn't in, which I was actually going to play some Cubs bets.
Yeah, well, I told that to you pre-show because Contreras was super cheap. I'm like, well, he caught in the first game, so he's not going to catch the second game. And I don't even see who was their catcher the first game. Oh, okay, so Molina's going to catch the second game almost definitely because somebody named Knizer, is that Case silent? I don't know who that is. It wasn't Molina. There you go. We'll get that lineup soon enough. We do have the Dodgers lineup for the record. That just came out. Betts, Seager, Turner, Muncy, Will Smith, the catcher, Turner, both Turners are in, Pollock and Lux. Chris Taylor, I guess he's not coming back anytime soon. The Blue Jays battling for their playoff spot, pretty standard lineup. Oh, actually, who got hurt last night? Gurriel got hurt last night. He's not in it. Springer, Semien, Vladi, Bichette, Hernandez, Kirk, Dickerson, who's a cheapie, Espinal, and McGuire at catcher. Your Mariners lineup is out. Get excited. It's pretty standard. They have Haniger and Seager in there. Crawford leading off, as you would expect. What are you doing with this on DK, this Atlanta San Diego game? Are you pretending like it's not happening? Like I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know
I
where to get
didn't have
lives for
interest.
it.
I just don't have interest in it. Like, it's fine, but it's not great. I mean, I don't have any interest in the Padres side of things. I don't hate playing Fried. Like, that's obviously not a problem, but there's other guys that I prefer. So yeah, not really any interest in it.
I wonder when they start that suspended game and that might possibly delay when the lineups are coming out for the night game. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a 10 o'clock game on the East Coast. It's West Coast game going off at 10:10 Pacific time. When did they start that suspended game? Are they starting it now? I wonder when that happens. And I'm just curious when the lineups will get released. Did I say what I'm asking? Yeah. Just be cautious of that. If you're playing Padres and Braves, you want to make sure your players, as always, are in the lineup. It is kind of tricky on pulling our consensus value rankings as far as the stacks. And we have San Fran and the Dodgers 1, 2. Colorado's third, the Rockies. No Hampson. Hampson was a guy that earlier in the day that was popping in models because he's super cheap and projected to lead off. He's not playing baseball today, at least not starting the game. Then Tampa, then Toronto. Toronto against Bailey Ober. It looks like it's not great weather, as far as I can tell, like 60 degrees there in Minnesota. It is blowing out a little bit. Let's see what Weather Edge has to say. What are you clicking on, Grant? What do you have something interesting to say before as I wander over to Weather Edge?
No, I'm just saying that I guess the interesting thing to say is there's a lot of really good stacks today. Like, just ones that I am considering: Baltimore, Texas, Philly, Cincinnati, Rays, San Francisco, St. Louis, Rockies, Toronto. Really like Milwaukee. Regardless, I will absolutely have some ownership.
So, not to cut you off, but Milwaukee's interesting for a couple of reasons. There's some interesting sticks there, obviously. But if you watch that Tyler McGill last game, his last start, and he's a rookie, and like we don't know what he is yet. But last game, he was just walking the world. He was dreadful, and when he wasn't walking you, he was getting beat up as well.
I mean, the more important thing is, like, he doesn't have an out pitch to lefties.
Are there any good lefties? Is Christian Yelich? Is this the day Christian Yelich finally gets a hit?
I mean, there's yeah, I hope so.
So
but there's Yelich, there's Wong, there's CEO of Team Girth, Vogelbach, there's Escobar, who's fantastic, Varez, solid catcher. Like, McGill, and this is a pretty decent sample size. What do you think the difference in WOBA and ISO between righties and lefties is?
The difference in WOBA between lefties and righties is about 140 points.
Yeah, close, 148. What do you think it is with ISO?
125 points.
162.
Oh, that will be more.
He is a certified ace versus righties.
Well, I mean, the samples aren't huge, but yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
what we've seen so far.
I mean, the main thing is he throws random little pitches, but his slider is his main out pitch. Like his changeup really isn't great. It gets hit very hard. He's got close to a 40% hard contact rate to lefties and over a 50% fly ball rate to lefties. He can get away with some stuff because he pitches over in Citi Field quite often. He's in Milwaukee, good ballpark for lefties, solid overall hitting ballpark. He's not going to get away with it here. And there's a lot of guys that hit the ball hard in this lineup.
Weather Edge, by the way, 41 game sample. Not sure if that's big enough or not, but 41 games for Wrigley. The current conditions, similar games in the past. 49% bump in homers, 20% bump in runs, 16% bump in ERA. 18 miles per hour, blowing out basically the dead center, just left of dead center, 75 miles per hour, dew point at 46. Yeah, I don't know if people are going to be playing the Cardinals. Like because typically like I would just X them out. Like no, but I'm playing some Cardinals because the combination we keep talking about as far as the baked in the prices, it's just way too cheap, and you're still probably going to get 4 bats from the good hitters at the top. So like 4 is kind of sort of somewhat standard for many hitters. All right. Soon enough, we'll be turning this over to Devin. Devin's compiling the questions in chat. I don't think I prompted it. So hopefully Devin has been compiling, and hopefully they've been Pavlov's dogs. We've trained the chat out there to be asking the questions. But if you haven't just yet, get some last second questions in. We're here for the next 13 minutes or so before we turn it over to Crunch Time and Kevin Roth and 2 experts that I'm not sure who's on today. Devin will tell you when he pops on. But yeah, let us know what have we not talked about you want us to focus on. Overarching, questions as far as the slate. Give us all the information, make it easier. Is it for cash? Is it for tournaments? Is it FanDuel? Is it DraftKings? What about this stack? What about that stack? All that good stuff, whatever you missed. Or if you want us to elaborate on something, feel free to fire that off now. Devin, have you been compiling? They've been asking questions, right? I assume, yes?
No, I've just been sitting here twiddling my thumbs.
Classic Devin.
Figured they'd show up sometime. Yeah, we have a lot of questions. Well, not a lot, but we got some stacks, and we'll let's go ahead and hop into lightning round. Well, before that, actually, I keep cutting myself off here. Let's do some DK cash breakdown, Dean.
Oh man! All right, so I will be clear. I'm not playing cash today, but like I referenced before, your pitcher is Gray. Again, I don't think it's super clear, but it's probably Gray, and one of Cease, Gilbert, Gibson, or Cole. Like I think it's one of those 5. Would you agree with that, Grant?
I wouldn't do Cole for cash.
Why not? If you can afford it and still get a fair collection of bats, he's the best pitcher in the slate.
Because I'd rather just pay up for some better bats. I mean, literally the entirety of the Giants team.
Yeah, but some of the Giants are kind of cheap.
Plus, he's going up against Boston.
I know.
No, I'm not playing Cole in cash. I'm probably playing Sonny Gray and Gilbert.
All right, that's fine. I won't argue that. As far as catcher, if you have the salary, by all means, you want to get Posey or Will Smith. If you can't get one of those 2, you're probably just flat out finding a spot to punt it. That's kind of sort of where I'm at. Diaz in the Rockies is fine at 3.8, I suppose, but that's sort of kind of caught in the middle. First base, CJ Cron has the best, matchup and price combination, 3.4K. Of course, if you have the salary, you want either Belt or Muncy. I think it's pretty clear. It's either Cron at the bottom or Belt and Muncy at the top. That's kind of where I'm at on that. Second base, I referenced him before, Tommy LaStella on the road in Coors Field, leading off, no better position to be in my estimation. 3.9K is way too cheap. I love Trey Turner. I think Brandon Lau's a great tournament play. Indy I like as well too. I like a lot of second basemen, but I think Tommy LaStella is the place you go to. That's one of the spots I would save some salary. Just way too cheap there. Third base, again, it's Giants and it's Dodgers if you can make it work. Longoria is a salary saver, kind of buried in the hole a little bit. At 7, I think he's batting today. Nolan Arenado's 3.4K. We talked about that, and I meant to reference. Yeah, Goldie's 3.3K. If you're playing Cron, probably in cash, but Goldie at 3.3K. Love that for tournaments, as we talked about that several times. But third base, it's Bryant, it's Turner, Justin Turner, Longoria or Arenado. Abe Haney Suarez on FanDuel's got a nice price at 2.7K. I don't mind that. Seager's still too cheap, always too cheap on DK at 4.8K. And then Story at 4.3K. That price is too cheap against Wood. We know about him at Holmes historically against lefties. He absolutely annihilates them, pummels them. again, it's Dodgers and it's Giants, and we keep repeating the same thing, but that's the deal. In the outfield, if you have the salary, Chris Bryant, of course, Ohtani at 5.7K, he's got a pretty solid price. I love Cedric Mullins. Today is the day. Here's my bold call. Today's the day Cedric Mullins becomes the first ever Baltimore Oriole to go 30-30. He's got 30 stolen bases. He's got 29 homers on layaway. He bangs out a homer, gets out of the way first at bat. There you go. 30-30. Cedric Mullins, who's had himself an incredible season. Good for him. It's been awesome. I love Castellanos. Not sure if I can afford that in cash. Ditto with Bryce Harper. I'm good with the Giants, Yaz, and Wade as well, too. And I'm fine with Yelich at 3.9K. I hate the way he's been playing. It's been so disappointing. And Springer at 4.9, again, on the road leading off over We Don't Fear. He's been a little dinged, a little bit beat up, but I'm okay with George Springer at 4.9K. Grant, did I miss anybody? Is there anybody that you feel like needs to be pointed out? It's possible I missed somebody. I'm sure I missed somebody.
I guarantee you did, but it's all right. We'll forgive you.
All right.
So said lovingly, of course. Hit that like button for Dean's cash breakdown. Love that. Let's get to some stacks game. As mentioned before, we need to go into lightning round because we've only got about 7 minutes left. Giants, Dean.
Yeah, 5-5.
And before I mention
5-5.
that, first number is primary stack ranking. Second number is secondary stack ranking. So 5-5 for both. Dodgers, Grant.
5-5.
Dean.
I got it's 5-5 as it was 12 seconds ago.
Same. All right. So, no, I said San Fran first time.
Wait.
Yeah, Dodgers.
This is Dodgers.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Where do you go, Dean?
Yeah. You know what? 5-5 again. Oh, I do want to point out, I know it's lightning round, but I do want to point out, I think this is worth taking the time here. The bullpen for the Diamondbacks, right? They only have 2 lefties, their bullpen. And what was the other one I wanted to point out? Just kind of lefty-righty stuff. Well,
Yeah,
go
this
ahead,
is
Devin.
lightning round.
Go ahead, Devin. I'll find what I wanted to point out, but go ahead.
Braves, Grant.
1-1.
Yeah, I'm not really playing them. 2.5. I like the Soler price still.
Surprising drop down there. Rockies, Dean.
3-3.
4-4.
Milwaukee, Grant.
5-4.
Yeah. 4-4. I like Milwaukee today.
Rangers, Dean.
No. 2-3. I'm not really big on the Rangers today. A couple one-offs, that's fine.
3-3.
Philly, Grant.
4-3.
3-3 for Philadelphia for me.
Angels, Dean.
No. 1.5, 2.
2-1. I think the only reason you do is leverage.
Yeah, I know I'm gonna get suckered into it again tonight.
You always play the Angels, don't you?
I love the Angels. Baltimore, Grant.
4-3.
2.5, 3.5.
Miami, Dean.
Nope. 1-1.
1-1.
Well, I mean, Yarbrough has been disastrous, but still,
It's still Miami.
yeah, I don't know what to do with that.
Don't.
Grant, Cleveland.
1-1.
Yeah, same. I don't like him.
Chat's killing me. It sounds like I'm in a men's room, apparently. Kansas City, Dean.
This is what I wanted to point out. The Rockies are at home versus the Giants. The Giants, they do their double swaps all the time for lefty-righty, lefty-righty, lefty-righty. Lambert's only going to pitch 3 innings. Get this. There's only one lefty arm in that Colorado bullpen. One. His name is Lucas Gilbreth, and he's pitched the last 2 days. Will he pitch a third day? Maybe. I'm not really sure. Do they want to push him? Probably not. It's probably
They have so much to play for.
It's all right-handers, almost definitely, out of that Colorado bullpen outside of Lucas Gilbreth. So, yes, that's one more reason to love the Giants. You asked about the Royals?
That sharp Gilbreth waiting in the wings. KC, Dean.
Yeah, they're going to face Casey Mize. Yeah, that's a 3 and a 3.
1-1.
And last one, Toronto, Grant.
4-4.
Yeah, 3.5 and a 4. They're going to get a couple homers in this game.
Roth has tainted my mind. I can't hear Casey Mize without thinking, Casey Mize, where you go?
He's an Auburn stud.
Shannon wants to know, Grant, who are we playing from the Cubs in a stack?
I mean, it would be Schwindel and Wisdom and probably Hap.
All
Wisdom's
right.
my favorite Cub.
And Alan missed your prize picks, Grant. I know you dropped them in chat, but why don't you touch on them again for people listening?
Branlow over 8 points, Meadows over 7.5.
All right, Yahoo Cash from Dean's burner to Dean. We're a snake eating its own tail here. Yahoo Cash, Cole and LaStella or Cease Trey Turner?
I like Cole Estella.
All right, Alan wants to know DK tournaments, Eovaldi or Barrios? SP1. Grant?
Barrios.
That's a Sophie's choice for you. You like both those guys, right?
Yeah, I'm using both.
Choose between your babies. It's tournament. It's DraftKings playing both. Steve wants to know Lauer. I did not get site or contest type for this one, so we'll say DK tournaments. Lauer.
He's been good, Grant. What do you think of Lauer today?
Rather go Barrios or Eovaldi.
All right. Any home run calls, guys?
Go ahead, Grant. I'll have someone lay away.
Austin Hayes. Going ballsy there.
Is it?
Christian Yelich.
That's ballsy.
That's ballsy.
Yeah.
That's
And
don't make me feel
Eduardo
bad to that.
Escobar.
I already told y'all that Cedric Mullins is going to homer today. That's happening. 30-30. Good for him. Awesome.
Wait, did you say Hayes wasn't ballsy?
No.
He's 3.2K.
You're basing that. Your chances are
He's
based off.
3.2K and he's sub 10% owned. And how is that not ballsy? His home run prop is like plus 500.
You're saying the chances of hitting home runs is like directly correlated with your actual salary?
No, but I'm saying generally if you're going to hit a home run fairly often, if you're cheap, you'll be heavily owned. He's not heavily owned.
Goldie's going to hit another homer because he gets a homers every single game, and he's taking. I know everybody's excited about this, but I'm winning the Rotogrinders season-long league.
No one cares.
This is very important. I'm going to have
man.
a trophy in my case the next to my name now going forward. I mean, it's not over just yet, but it's over. I think it's over. So Goldie's going to hit one out. He doesn't need 9 innings. He gets homers out in, just 7 innings, all he needs. We're going to get who's going to homer for the Giants? It's kind of sort of somewhat. I mean, Belt's going to homer, but like everybody knows that one, right? That's not surprising. How about Corey Dickerson? Corey Dickerson is a cheapie homers off of Bailey Ober. That's ballsy. How about that, Grant? Look at his price.
It's not any more ballsy than Hayes. I guarantee they have pretty similar.
Dickerson's 2.6K. You were basing it off salary.
And ownership, Dickerson is going to be much heavier owned.
Is he?
I have no idea. Probably not.
Just making stuff up now.
Well,
you did say Yelich, so that was a ballsy call for sure.
Coming up to the end of the show, I gotta find some cash so I can tip Chomp on my way out of the bathroom here. Strategy question: how are you guys going to be different from the field tonight in tournaments? Grant?
Playing a ton of Cardinals.
I'm most likely not fully stacking.
You dumb stupid ass.
So Dean's gonna lose tonight.
Well, you alluded to it. Grant.
No, how's that any different than the other night, Devin? Burn!
Grant, you alluded
Just
to it.
teed him up.
You said earlier, like there's so many good stacks today, and I kind of agree. There's so many good pieces. There are 15 games. Like it's not just gonna be the Dodgers and Giants that go off tonight. Maybe they don't even go off. But I want to get I like the 3-3-2. I like that kind of stuff. Like give me different shares of different teams.
Have you not read Slate IQ?
I understand.
Play lineups.
That's also
players.
that's a lot of that stuff's geared toward like the contest where there's 50,000 lineups. I don't play those contests.
Dean, let me throw something back at you that maybe you've heard before. The gall of you to think that you know more than historical data showing the winners of contests.
Yes. Well, when the audacity of me to think that I can win the 50,000 person contest with my 4 lineups, it's not going to happen. But I like the single entry stuff. I like the 3 entry stuff, and I don't. Again, I just that's my way of being a little bit different. And if I'm going to play some chalky players, I'm getting a different mix of chalk. If that makes sense. We'll see. Grant, you know what? I'm going to have a screenshot just for you tonight. I'm going to make sure to tag you. And what else do we bet on?
You're winning $0.
If it's $0,
tag me in it, please.
So be it. If it's $0.
You suck.
All right, Dean, take us home.
Yeah, well, my ego has been completely deflated throughout this show. Do subscribe.
Just another show with Grant then.
Turn on notifications. Stay tuned for Crunch Time. Who's on with Crunch Time? I mentioned Roth, but who's the actual analyst?
Tuttle and Cheese.
There you go. Dave Potts, 2-time millionaire winner. You got to read his article every single day and check out what he has to say on Crunch Time. If you guys want to get access to Crunch Time, get yourself $10 off your first month of RG Premium. Also, Scores and Odds, we referenced it a couple times. I know we got to go, Devin, but don't you get 5 days off? I think 5 days off. 5 days for free on Scores and Odds if you guys happen to be premium members. I think
RG members, yep. Get the first 5 days for free.
I've got like 6 props on the board. Get in there.
There you go. Grant, that was baseball. That was Devin. Thanks for watching. Again, do it the like button on your way up. Subscribe, turn on notifications, all that good stuff. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your football. Enjoy your baseball. We're out of here. Oh!